All right, so here we are. We are officially here. Been bumpy the last couple of weeks, but we are here. This is weeks since we haven't been able to do a show, so we'll have a lot to cover here tonight. But nevertheless, me and the beard are here to tackle things. You know, what's the stash doing? Is he playing softball?
Softball Monday night. Yep.
Yeah, softball. Sorry.
That's okay.
Him and Adrian.
He's a singer. No, I don't think Adrian plays anymore. I think Adrian just likes to talk about the glory days.
Yeah, he's definitely that guy that like sits or goes to the baseball game with like his wife or whatever, and like when a pitcher does something, he's like, now when I used to play, I used to hold the ball like this, and my break was 6 inches more than his.
I mean, your only real flaw with that is thinking that Adrian's wife wants to be out with him in public. We all know that's not true.
I mean, the fact that they let him be a public educator is still a major problem.
Has anybody even seen him with his wife in public? Like, do we know if she actually exists, or is he just making this shit up?
He's got one of those inflatables.
Ooh, could be. What was the one from Super Troopers? They brought Ursula? Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but see, like that was like a real inflatable. They got like ones that look, real now.
Yeah, he's a teacher though. He can't afford one of those on his salary.
That's Vegas teachers though. I mean, he's probably got a side gig.
Yeah, look at their education system though. Like it's not that great.
I'm saying he's got a side gig. We don't know what he does at nights.
Janitorial staff at to giant ass Roomba in town.
Vegas nightlife, so he sucks them in.
Something. I don't know. We'll see in a couple months when we go out there. Anyway.
That's true. All right, so let's get to we do talk video games on here from time to time. So
we haven't in depth yet, but yeah.
We had like the one brief thing. So let's
we did our top 5 franchises that one time.
Yes, which went wonderfully. So let's tackle this. So about a week ago, Xbox made the big move to buy Activision and Blizzard for $68.7 billion. And then today, in what Sony says is not a response, in a deal that has been in the works for 6 months now, they bought Bungie for I believe it was $3.6 billion. Remember, these are billions with a B. So that's that. Last week when I had this up, it was the question was kind of okay. Well, now that Xbox owns Activision and Blizzard, what does this mean for Call of Duty and Overwatch? But Josh, your initial reaction was when you heard the Sony deal. What now happens with Halo?
Man, if Halo comes to PlayStation, they win. They absolutely win. I don't care if you bought Call of Duty and you put it on my Xbox exclusively. I do not care. You're going to give Halo to PlayStation? Oh, buddy, you're messing up. The only thing that made Xbox worth playing was Halo. And everybody hates Call of Duty for the most part. Like, there's so many people talking smack about how Call of Duty is still full of hackers and still has all these glitches, and they don't put the effort into the game that they need to. A lot like the EA games. Everybody complains about that too. But you're going to take Bungie and Halo, which, the new Halo is amazing, and everyone's talking about how great it is. And now you're going to put that on PlayStation's platform? A system that's built for platform games like this, and they bought it for what, $3.8 billion compared to the
3.6, I think.
Yeah, to the $68 billion that Microsoft shelled out. Sony is winning big time here. It's not even close. You got Bungie for 20 times less than they're getting Activision Call of Duty. I will take that any day. Not to mention Sony still gets God of War. They still get all the Spider-Man games. Like they still have tons of other exclusives that they're gonna get to keep. I don't see this as a losing situation anymore.
They did lose their show exclusivity though. Today they announced Otani's the cover athlete for this year's show game, and this is the first year it's fully on Xbox. So they did lose that one.
That's okay. As I said, the EA games haven't been great in a long time.
Well,
the only thing that made the new show.
The show isn't an EA game.
Is it not?
No, it's a Sony studio or San Diego Studios.
Oh, you're right. It is San Diego Studios. Even still, the only big thing about the show last year, anyway, was when it was on the PS5 releases, you could do your own custom stadium again. Yeah. That was like big.
Which is why I did not buy the show last year, because I did not have a PS5.
Right, and I still don't have one, so I don't see it as a, like, okay, you can put that on Xbox, that's fine, like unless you have a PS5.
It's not earth shattering.
No,
it's interesting when Xbox bought Blizzard and Activision, they were quick to kind of kill the talk that I wanted to have about, as far as, now that you have all these games under your umbrella, making them Xbox exclusives. I mean, the perfect example was under that umbrella of Activision and Blizzard, suddenly Xbox has control of Crash Bandicoot, which has always been a Sony game.
Bungie's always been a Halo game. Or
exactly.
Xbox. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, and Xbox was quick to dismiss the idea of taking anything and making it exclusive, saying that they still anticipated things to be on both platforms. I wonder, and I haven't seen anything yet, so I don't know. I wonder if Sony will be as quick to be as friendly with the Halo franchise now under the umbrella.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they will. Like, I wouldn't be too concerned about, like, cross-platform gaming is what everybody's asked for a very long time, because you have your PC gamers. When I play COD, I always have at least two to three PC gamers in there. I've got a couple of Xbox players, and then myself on the PS4 and others on the 5. So I don't think you really take that away, because Activision and Treyarch and Ravensoft have all worked really hard to make that as seamless as possible. So I think Microsoft buying it might just do some tweaks to it, but I don't see them getting rid of it. Sony, I could very well see being like, we own Bungie, we're making Halo exclusive on the PlayStation now. And that, I think, would be hilarious. But they could also do a similar thing and open it up to, just that cross-gen play as well. So making something like Halo cross-gen really would work out in Sony's favor. Like, still allow it to be on Xbox, but bringing it over to PlayStation, doing the cross-platform gaming would be huge. It would probably feel weird though, playing Halo on a PlayStation controller. So like that's a more interesting piece for me. Like, having loved playing Halo, is how's it going to feel playing Halo on a PlayStation controller? It'll be weird.
Okay, so here you go. To answer the question that we have as far as what will happen with Halo, Bungie will operate as an independent subsidiary of Sony once the deal is closed, which basically means, and Sony has also assured them, that everything will continue to be multi-platform, and they will have the option to distribute its own games to reach gamers wherever they choose to.
Nice. So, there you go.
So nobody is throwing down the gauntlet here. Frankly, I think they're both being too friendly.
Well, we had the console wars though already, and we
That's
all
my
know
point.
who won.
I'd like a rebirth. I feel the fact that we don't have console wars is the reason why games, frankly, suck now.
Well, Steam has a lot to do with that too, though.
Yeah, I think the PC gaming world has really taken a lot out of the console.
Mm-hmm. But everybody,
I mean,
go ahead.
My daughter's a perfect example. She's got an Xbox in her room, and yet she just got a laptop, and now she strictly plays on the laptop. She doesn't touch the Xbox.
It's not a Series X. It's just like an Xbox One or what?
Yeah. It's not the new one. Not the new one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not Scrooge McBucks over here.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say if it's a 360 and she doesn't want to play it anymore, you just go ahead and send that over here. I'll take care of it for you.
I have a 360 chilling over here.
What?
Yeah.
You don't use it?
Dude, I have a closet in my house that has every gaming system up to the PS4, Xbox One generation.
Jesus Christ. I didn't keep any of mine.
Yeah. I didn't keep them as I grew up. A few years ago, I kind of decided, like, I had a few of them, and I was like, it'd be cool to kind of go out. The only one that I don't have, and this is just purely because I am frugal and I don't want to pay more than I really feel I need to, is I still don't own a Dreamcast. Don't have that one.
I had one.
I had a buddy.
Got rid of it.
I didn't own one back in the day. I had a buddy who had one, used that one, but to get a Dreamcast now is like almost $100. That's just not something I'm doing.
You know how much it is to like buy a 360 right now? It's like $200-$300 still.
You're looking in the wrong spots, my friend. I can get you a 360 cheaper than that.
Okay, well you do that, and then you go find me NCAA 14. And I will just pay you, and then you can send it to me.
You might have to pay more for NCAA 14 than you do the Xbox.
I know. The closest I've ever come is 200, and it was $100 for each. I should have taken it.
Are we ever going to get a new NCAA game?
No. Well, college football, EA Sports College Football is supposed to come out next year.
That's what we're calling it out, just college football. We're not going to call it NCAA.
No, because the NCAA is not technically affiliated with it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're doing the whole NIL route now. And
yeah.
All that stuff. So we can't label it NCAA.
Yep, so it's just going to be college football 2023 or whatever. But I'm pretty sure every major school has signed on. I mean, if the scouting engine from the current Madden is what they're putting in as your way of scouting prospects in the college football game, it's going to be trash. Like, it's not going to be great.
Well, I don't have high hopes for it by any means.
I mean, if you're giving me college football, I want NCAA 14 brought back as 2023. Like, don't do anything different. Just update it and let me play it. That's all I want.
That's not.
I know. Guy can dream, okay?
I mean, they don't even fix Madden, and you want them to bring back a game from the dead from a decade ago.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to some stuff that you and I watched. So let's do this first, since the stash is not here, and this was something that the stash didn't watch at all. You and I can go through this. So we had our, when there were about 2 or 3 episodes left, you and I discussed the road that we thought Dexter was going to go down. And, the eventual paths to an ending for this show. Neither of us had this one. And if you haven't watched Dexter New Blood to this point, I'll just say spoilers, and it's not my fault that you guys didn't watch it. I mean, statute of limitations have run out at this point if you were going to watch it. So you can dive into everything that you want to. I'm just gonna do this. I didn't have a problem with the ending on the surface. I have a problem with the ending because in talking to the director about the ending and basically asking about, well, will there be a season 2? Will we kind of follow up? He's basically said, if Showtime calls me and wants to do that, I'll drop everything and do it. But basically, that's the ending and they have no plans. That's my issue. Because now I feel like we're in the same exact spot we were with Dexter.
Well, I disagree completely. I don't think we're in the same spot that we were at the initial, series finale. I think we've come so far past that at this point. I think that like our predictions were spot on up until that final episode. Like everything that we said was going to happen happened. We just didn't see it ending the way that it ended. Like to include like Angel coming up to New York from Miami, like that was happening. There was a bunch of things we said where he was either going to walk in on Dexter killing Caldwell, or he was going to be present. Like we said, all of that. Dexter dying was not something that I think either one of us considered. But if you were to end it, like if you were to end the show now, we have a complete character arc on Dexter. We have a complete character arc on Hannah. We have a complete character arc for the most part on Harrison.
Okay, so here's where I'm gonna stop. We have complete character arcs on basically everybody from the original show.
Yes.
I think we have a partial arc on Harrison, because my question is we showed what Harrison was dealing with without Dexter. Okay? Then we saw the original reunion. Then we saw how the relationship was affected when Dexter kind of revealed himself. And then, we see kind of this back and forth inner turmoil within Harrison of, at one point he seems to be Dexter's son to a T. And then to the other hand, he had the one thing that Dexter didn't, which was, these personal emotional ties bothered him more so than they did Dexter. Dexter wiped those away immediately, whereas Harrison wanted answers and didn't look past them. So my question, which is why I'm like, you're kind of leaving me hanging in some aspect here, is, Harrison is now driving off. He's like, what effect does this have on Harrison? I mean, does Harrison still have this sort of dark passenger in him that he now has to try and deal with on his own, taking whatever he can from, his quasi relationship with Dex? Or has this kind of closed off that part of him and he now becomes normal? More importantly, I mean, and this is something that Harrison, it didn't sit well with him, because he sat outside the house before driving away. He leaves the daughter, his whatever you want to call her, his girlfriend, his booty call, whatever you want to call her. Mm-hmm. And that obviously didn't sit well with him, so is he drawn back by her? I mean, there's a bunch of questions that I'm left with.
So, like, here, I feel like we know that Harrison's not going to be a serial killer. I think that when he got to see Dex kill Kurt Caldwell, he kind of got to see the darker side of like where where his emotions were really at. Like, yes, he had violent tendencies, and yes, he wanted to he had some anger. He had some things that he needed to release, and he was messing around with it, but he hadn't officially like killed anybody or done anything like that. When he sees Dex do it, you can tell that like he's on board, but he's not fully on board. Like he's conflicted. So then after when Dex tells him like, or when he finds out that Dex kills his coach, the cop. He's like, I did what I had to do. You can see immediately in his head, he goes, well, I thought we were just killing bad people. Like, you're not just killing bad people. And, I think it was in that moment where he was like, no, I don't want to be like this. Like, that's not who I want to be. I don't want to do that. And when he shot Dex, I think that was him killing his own internal dark passenger. That's how I looked at it. And as he's driving away and leaving town, like he's looking at, like, yep, I lost this. Like, God, I wish I could just go talk to her, at least tell her that I'm leaving, but I have to go. And he understands that because he's a super smart kid, which they tell you, throughout the entire season. But when he drives away and he sees all the cop cars and the feds just driving up into town, I think that's a pretty good. I think that's a pretty good indicator of like, no, he's done. Like he's going to run. He's never going to come back, and he's not going to do it again.
Yeah. And the other thing too is when they kill Kurt, it was like he was good with killing Kurt and the the finality of it, but then when Dexter has to essentially do the cleanup, if we want to call it that, that's where you see Harrison kind of get queasy. I mean, like, you remember when he's draining, when the blood is going down the drain and he's backing up. I think that was kind of where it got to Harrison, and Harrison's like, no, this isn't for me. And the other thing that I don't want to say upset, I'm disappointed about is, you and I were right about, Angel's gonna come, right? And
Yeah.
and we never got it. We got the phone call. We got, I'll be there in the morning. We got basically the whole walk up to it, but we didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to know Angel's reaction now when he gets there and he finds Dex dead.
Mm-hmm.
And all like that whole thing. I mean, there's not a whole lot of loose ends, but there are loose ends.
Well, and I'm okay with that to an extent because, like you said, the director of the whole show was like, if Showtime wants us to do it again, I'll stop everything and do it. I think they wanted to leave enough of a thread there so that if they got the go ahead, they could pull that string and be like, episode 1, Angel walks into the police station or walks into the morgue and sees Dexter's body laying there. And, he's talking with that cop, and we see how that goes. And then, we see him like finding out that it was Dexter, and then we can watch him go back to Miami. He goes back to Miami and tries to clear up, everything with Dokes' family. He solves LaGuerta's murder at that point, and he gets a lot of closure. So we could take it from Angel's perspective and move forward, and then at some point, or while you're going on that route, you could follow Harrison and see where he's doing. Maybe Harrison ends up back in Miami, and like to close season 2, you see him like knocking on Angel's door or something like that. So you got the two thread storylines. You could see it. Like, it's possible.
Harrison becomes Angel's blood splatter analysis
or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know how he'd feel about that. He'd probably be a little uncomfortable, I don't think that would work. No, but maybe like he becomes Harrison's word, like Harrison's his word or something like that. I could see that happening.
I mean, hopefully, obviously, based off of the reaction and whatnot, this season of Dexter did well for Showtime. So I'm hoping that, Showtime will, kind of get and see what the what the plan would be if they were to move forward and eventually give them the green light. Because it's weird. It's like I was fine. When Dexter first ended, I was like, I wish I knew a little bit more, but I was kind of okay with it. Then they bring it back, and now I'm like, and now it's like, okay, now I want more. Now you've kind of brought all this up, so I need more. You can't just cut me off now.
But that would be my question to you then: is would you watch it without Michael C. Hall as Dexter?
I think you've done enough work now where, if you're giving me the Harrison storyline, and if we are now, I think the great thing you could do, and like you said, is, and you could even work it with Michael C. Hall, cameos here and there, is now while we're seeing how Harrison is now moving on, we're also seeing Angel trying to pick up the pieces now, knowing everything about Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of your tie-in for a non-Michael C. Hall portion of the show. Mm-hmm. So I think it could work.
I mean, Michael C. Hall was an executive producer on the show, so like he put a lot of his own money into this season. So maybe if he wanted to keep it going and like he wanted to keep producing it and everything, I think Showtime might be more receptive to it. I also could see, Harrison still potentially struggling with his dark passenger and having flashes of like whenever he starts to get out of control, Dex is there kind of like Harry or Deb was for him. And maybe not in the same sense of like trying to talk him down or talk him through it, but maybe try and talk him out of it. Like, do you want to end up like me? Like, do you want to, you saw what I did, you know what I am. Like, is this how you want to do? Like, this what you want to do with your life? I thought I gave you an out. I thought you were taking a way out. Like, I could see that potentially being like how you keep him in the show, but he then has to want to.
Yeah, like I said, I just kind of.
There's a lot of moving parts there that are tough.
I just hope it happens. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm down for it if it comes back. I'm happy if it doesn't. Yeah, like I'll be happy either way. I thought it had enough closure that I was fine with how it ended if it never comes back. If it comes back, I'll be ecstatic because they're still doing a really good job with it.
All right. So let's move on to something that we will most likely agree on here, and that is we need to discuss the well, I shouldn't say latest movie because Spider-Man No Way Home is the latest movie in the MCU, but the movie before that, the one that kind of snuck under the radar, I guess, as far as an MCU movie is concerned, is finally on Disney Plus. It's been there for a few weeks now. The Eternals, to which our friend Zach said, if it's got Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek in it, it'll get me to watch. And I am here to tell you that not even Selma Hayek and Angelina Jolie could have saved this movie. This, like, how Edward Norton's Hulk is very loosely connected to this MCU, but they really want you to just try and forget that. I feel like that's going to be the Eternals at some point. Like they'll try and connect this for now, but at some point they're going to want you to forget this ever happened.
See, I went a completely different direction. I agree. It's not a great movie. I think your comparison's off though.
Okay.
And I think it's closer to Thor: The Dark World in the grand scheme of things.
That's because you hate Thor: The Dark World.
No. Hear me out. And this is why I say this. It's not because I hate Thor: The Dark World, because that movie was trash, and I put this on that level of bad. Like neither of these movies were great, but I put it on as Thor: The Dark World because Thor: The Dark World had a big role in Infinity War and Endgame. There was a lot of things that were brought in from Thor: The Dark World that you had to know and had to pay attention to get the overall story that they were trying to build. So I think that's kind of the role that Eternals is going to take here. Like, there's going to be things in here, there's going to be pieces that you need to have and you need to understand that only could be given to you from this movie in order to make the grand scheme work. So I think it's going to be on that level, because I know Kit Harington is going to be I forget the character that he's going to be.
Well, we got Harry freaking Styles.
Harry Styles?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Did you not watch the end credit?
Was that Harry Styles?
Yes.
What? I guess I just don't know what he looks like anymore.
Okay. Well, here, let me dive into the issues I have with this movie. And the end credits is going to be a big part of it. The end credits is going to be a big part of it.
Okay.
Number one, okay, we knew, and it was something that was discussed well before this movie came out, was if the Eternals have all these powers and blah, 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 why didn't they interfere during, why didn't they help the Avengers? Why didn't they involve themselves in Endgame, et cetera, et cetera? They make a very small... They talk about it very briefly. They don't, but it's almost like this is the reason and that was that. Blah, blah, blah. That didn't sit well with me. Number two, the Eternals are Celestials. Okay?
Celestials.
Yeah. What'd I say? Celestials?
Yeah.
Take the R out. The movie that we deal with that the most is Guardians. Not Avengers. And there's no Guardians ties in this movie.
Well, there is.
What is the Guardians tie in this movie? Other than the fact that they're Celestials.
Well, Tiamat and Ego were both Celestials. So you have that tie-in. I have a feeling Eros is probably going to tie into the new Guardians movie as well. Or Star Fox, for that matter. I mean, Harry Styles could tie in that way. I had to look it up. I was like, who is he? And yes, he's Star Fox, so I couldn't remember. And Kit Harington is the Black Knight. So yeah.
I was gonna say we're gonna get to him shortly.
Yeah, but I could see Arrows tying into Guardians. I could see, and then you have Nowhere too. Nowhere's a Celestial, so
I'm saying they're all Celestials, and yet, like you're saying that they could tie in, and yeah, I'm sure that but I'm saying we're talking about Celestials for 2.5 hours. And yet there's no mention of Guardians. There's no anything. There's no direct connect. I'm saying the eventual connects, okay, fine. Yeah, sure. But direct connects, there's nothing.
Right.
I got more to talk about the Avengers for 5 seconds than I did anything Guardians. Mm-hmm. And that's the direct connect to anything that's going on with Eternals.
Well, and you've got, yeah. They didn't really cover anything Guardians. It didn't make sense based on, like, if it's supposed to tie in that way, and the whole argument of, well, like, why didn't you do anything against Thanos? It's the same reason that they didn't do anything ever in history on Earth. They were only about growing the population to raise the Celestial. Like, that's all that it was ever for. So I feel like it was just improper planning and poor writing and just lazy overall. I have issues with some of the ways that the storytelling went and the way that they portrayed and misportrayed some of the characters and actors that didn't get as much love as they should have. And I have a main complaint with the media. Everybody praised Kumail Nanjiani for his acting prowess in this movie. I didn't see it. Like, he was in the movie for all of like 5 minutes, in my opinion. And then he dips at the end. Like, did we just not gloss over the fact that he's not really seen once in that final battle against Icarus? Like, he just walks away, and then they do this big final battle, and then all of a sudden he's back, and no one has anything to say. Like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna gloss over all that. Okay, sure. Dumb.
Okay, so let me get to the end credits because there's 2 end credit scenes, and
Yes.
I have equal issues with both. Okay, so we already brought up Harry Styles. Right now, you know who Harry Styles is.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Harry shows up and reveals that he is Thanos' brother. What in the hell is that? So you're going to now try and sell me on Thanos' brother is a Celestial, and they had no communication. He didn't involve himself. There was no nothing.
Yeah, you can't have Thanos as your brother and be like, "Hey, man, what he did, I had nothing to do with it." Like, that's not me.
Okay, and we go to the other, and as you talked about the Dark Knight or Black Knight.
Yeah.
So when he opens up the case and gets to the sword,
Yep.
he hears the voice. Do you know what that voice is?
Nope.
That is your introduction to Blade in the MCU.
Really?
That is Mashara Ali.
Mahershala?
Yeah. You know, I can't say names. Whatever.
I know you can't say names. I have to tell you. It's fine.
But what kind of a shitty intro is that?
What is now? Okay, so Black Knight is not somebody that I've followed as a kid growing up. And
don't ask. I can't help you here.
I was going to say, what do Black Knight and Blade have to do with each other?
I don't know. I mean, you know, supposedly this Blade is going to be vastly different from our Wesley Snipes Blade, so I'm not even sure what to expect from this Blade.
Okay, so saying that tells me don't watch it.
Well, yeah. You know.
I liked Wesley Snipes Blade, so
again, this is a reboot of a character that I didn't ask for.
We didn't need.
Yeah, I mean, how you're connecting it to the MCU, but like I said, I mean, of all the introductions we've gotten in the MCU, I mean, think of the Thanos introduction. Okay, it wasn't long, it was very brief, there wasn't much said, but nevertheless, it made an impact. I mean, you didn't even know who said it. I had to Google it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, when Thanos was introduced, everybody knew who that was.
Yes.
Well, everybody that knew comics knew exactly who that was. They weren't hiding it, and they were pretty open about it. Like, yep, we're getting Thanos. Like, here he is, and so it was more of just like okay, all right, let's go. Now you're getting like, we're gonna tie in Blade, and we're gonna tie in like, we're gonna throw you Harry Styles as an actor. We're gonna throw in all these cool things. That's cool if the movie would have actually been good, like, yeah. and you plan this out the right way. Like, who directed this goddamn movie? That's what I got to find out. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
I don't know. Whoever it was should not be allowed to direct anymore.
I'm gonna find out.
Even if they directed something good in the past, I want their director's card revoked.
Chloe Zhao.
What's
literally being called the worst MCU movie ever. So that gets to that question.
There we go.
I'm trying to pull her up on IMDb to find out what else she's done. But
does she have an is a she? A he?
It's a she.
She? Does she even have an IMDb? Is it just Eternals?
Oh, she does. I'm trying to like get to it. I'm getting bits and pieces just on the Google search, but like I'm trying to actually find, like, give me some information on her. Um, but yeah, this is a big movie for somebody like that, and I'm trying to figure out
Like,
what.
here's the thing. I went into the movie with low expectations.
Yes.
It was for an MCU movie, and I get that it came out during COVID and at a time where people just weren't going to theaters, and I get all of that. But even under normal circumstances, it was not a movie I was going to go see in the theater. It was just not, it was not one of those MCU movies, and they didn't, it in a way, it reminded me, and something we're going to talk about here in a bit, it reminded me of what DC did with Justice League, in that they just took this group of superheroes. And this is even worse off because at least with Justice League, we knew who the superheroes were. And here we didn't know who any of these people were. And we got quasi backstories and a movie that is basically made in essence to set up other things that will eventually happen. But in the meantime, did a horrible job of doing anything that would lead you down the roads that they're supposed to be connected to.
So she won.
She won something?
She won an Oscar for Best Picture.
What?
In 2020 for Nomadland. She was the director of Nomadland.
A movie I did not watch.
Movie I had never heard of until this moment.
Also that one.
Yeah, how much
And it
I
won
watched
Best
the
Picture.
Oscars. Yeah, it won Best Picture. So, I mean, it just reading it, I'm like, this makes sense that it's an Oscar Best Picture in 2020, a year where no movies came out.
It was probably one of those, like the budget was $10 and it was shot on a 35 millimeter because the Oscars loves that crap.
I'll read you the description because it's super brief. A woman in her 60s, after losing everything in the Great Recession, embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van-dwelling modern-day nomad. That's the description for this movie, and it got Best Picture.
So it's a female version of Chris Farley.
Not a van down by the river.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just in like one of those van homes, and then she just lives wherever she wants to live. She doesn't have to live in a van down by the river, but if she chooses to, she can.
To each their own.
I guess. But I think that was probably why they were giving her a lot of credit going into Eternals. Like she said, she won the Oscar for Best Picture. So
she's not going to win an Oscar for this one.
She might win a what do they call that? The Razzies. Like Jesus Christ, so bad, dude.
All right. One last thing.
Eternals super bad. Did not enjoy. I have it second or third worst MCU movie.
Second or third? Like, you have things below it?
Dark World. It's down there.
You really take a crap on Dark World.
It was a shitty movie.
It's not shittier than Eternals. I'm sorry.
It's pretty bad, dude.
Yeah. All right. One more thing that Josh will take a dump on. I'll take a slight dump on here before we get into important things. Is so DC has put Peacemaker out. We're about 5 or 6 episodes deep at this point on HBO Max. Okay, so let me ask you the question this way, and maybe I'll get a different answer out of you. So it has been said that Peacemaker is basically being used as a canon for DC to kind of set up future things that will happen with, either the characters or maybe set up storylines as we get further into this season, what have you. So I know you don't love the show, but from the aspect of DC using it as a canon, how do you feel it is doing thus far in comparison to how the MCU shows are working?
Terribly. Like it's you watch the first episode of it, and like now, not knowing about the direction that they were going into it, I thought that this show was going to be pre Suicide Squad. Like, I thought this was going to be more like who was Peacemaker before he got on the island, killed Flag, and got crushed. Like that's where I thought the show was going to be. That's what I thought it was going to be about. Turns out it's post island, and he miraculously lives. I got 2 episodes in, and I tried really hard to like it, and I just hate it. Like everything that's good about what DC's done with like now that show escapes me.
I was gonna say you're trying to find something that DC's done well.
Yeah, because it's the show that's on HBO Max.
Oh God, Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. Thank you. Holy shit, Doom Patrol's really good. Like I love Doom Patrol. I think it's very well done.
But see, here's the thing. Do you know why Doom Patrol is really good? What does it connect to?
Nothing.
Exactly.
And I thought Peacemaker was going to be the same way. I was like, we're just going to get to see kind of an origin story for Peacemaker. And I would have been happy with that. But you're taking John Cena, who, I mean, John Cena's not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's never going to be. And yet people feel like they can use him in a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson way, except he's the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson of like the more raunchy comedies. So, like, because The Rock can do a comedy. He's got Kevin Hart that he does movies with all the time.
They're besties.
They're besties. So I'm here for that. Rock's a funny guy. John Cena's a funny guy too, but in a more physical comedy kind of way, and playing the idiot more than the tough funny guy. So you give me a show like Peacemaker, where I don't know anything about anything coming into it. I want to know more about who he is, and you're giving me a guy that I'm already pissed off at for killing Flag and being a known bad guy, and you try and win me over by giving me an eagle that he talks to, which is awesome. I love the eagle.
Don't talk bad about Eagly.
Eagly is amazing. Okay. But I think that it's such a try-hard show that like you're doing too much. You need to let it breathe a little bit and stop trying so damn hard. That's my issue with Peacemaker.
Vigilante also adds nothing. He's adding
0.
Nothing.
Yeah. Like I don't care. Like, they didn't make me care.
And then the worst thing is I saw James Gunn say that Peacemaker is just the first spin-off show from Suicide Squad. As in there's going to be more. I don't want more. I wasn't exactly clamoring for this.
I'm telling you this right now. If they do a Captain Boomerang spinoff with Jai Courtney, I'm done. I'm done with DC forever.
Hold on. By the time this show ends, I might have you at that point.
If Captain fucking Boomerang is still alive.
All right. I will tell you, there's nothing Captain Boomerang related in what I'm going to say by the time the show ends.
Okay. All right.
So we're safe on that end. No.
All right.
No, I think I'm going to piss you off in a much deeper way.
Probably.
But here's my problem, right? We've kind of rebooted Suicide Squad, which I didn't think we needed to, and we did this whole thing, and then blah 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 blah. The best thing that came out of the original Suicide Squad, I feel like the original Suicide Squad is almost a quasi extension of the Snyder Cut in that everybody wants us to forget it, because the ending of Suicide Squad had set up exactly what I wanted, and now it's to be forgotten. It never happened. Okay, and for those
The
of
Will
you who
Smith
don't
one never
remember,
happened.
yeah, for those of you who don't remember what I'm talking about, the end of Suicide Squad is Harley in the cell, swinging and drinking her whatever coffee, cappuccino, whatever it is, and Joker busting in, breaking her out. Okay, and that's it. We get nothing after that. I mean, Jared Leto Joker is gone. I don't know if it will ever be used again.
Without Zack Snyder, no.
And I mean, the what we've seen of Harley has been almost as they've tried to separate her from Joker. I mean, that was the whole Harley movie, was how she's moved on from Mr. J.
Mm-hmm.
Which I had a huge problem with, because it's like, well, the last time I saw you, he was breaking you out. So what happened? And we don't get that explanation.
My issue was, you have Viola Davis, who's amazing as oh my god, I can't even think of names right now, dude.
Yeah, it's escaping me too.
I just had it. But like, Waller, you have her, Waller. Amanda Waller. Thank you. And Waller just being this absolute scumbag, which anybody who knows anything about Waller, outside of the Arrowverse, because in the Arrowverse, Amanda Waller wasn't bad at all. But Amanda Waller's always a shitbag. And you give me Viola Davis with the way that she acts. And like, I thought for sure her own staff was going to kill her there at the end. They didn't, but I thought that was going to happen. And that had me really excited. I had no idea that the first Suicide Squad had been completely wiped by the second one. And now I'm a little pissed off. Yeah. Like, I'm kind of angry about that now.
All right. So let's move on. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff that pops up on the screen here, but we're not going to go in the order that it is. So me and Josh are going to talk about the most important thing first, and that is Batman. So the Batman length of the movie and the rating has come out here. But I have dug deeper and found out some more information. So here's what we know right now. The theater cut is going to be right around 3 hours. I think it's 2:55. It's the longest Batman movie that we've had, and it is rated PG-13. What if I told you, Josh, that one, there was an R-rated version, and two, the original cut was 4 hours, and they told them to cut an hour out?
If if you would have kept it 4 hours and had it be R-rated, I would say stick with that and do what the Snyder Cut did. Like, just do it that way. People forget that we used to have movies with fucking intermissions in them. We can go back to that. It's COVID, baby. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
I think that these studios and, all these, researchers and test studies and blah, 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 this is the university. This is the universe and the youth of this.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where our heads are. Okay. We have 5-second attention spans. So, even the fact that this is almost 3 hours surprises me, because I feel like these studios just think that, we can't hold their attention for that long.
You can hold my attention as long as it's a good movie.
Oh, no,
I'm going to watch all 3 hours of this movie.
I was going to say, if it was 4 hours, it wouldn't have stopped me.
Yeah, not even close. I would have been like, where's the 5th hour? I want Lord of the Rings level extended cut Batman. You give me 8-hour Batman. I will watch it and not complain. But 3 hours, I'm a little scared by a 3-hour PG-13 Batman. how much shit are they going to cram into this thing? That's my concern.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you had that concern with Spider-Man as well. You haven't seen Spider-Man yet, but
No, but I
um,
know all the spoilers now. It's been a
I
while.
was going to say, I mean, and we're going to get into that shortly
Yeah.
here too. But I mean, they didn't, despite everything they crammed in, they didn't do too much, and it was put together well. So,
That's
and I
Marvel,
mean,
it's not DC.
well, also true. I mean, and here's my fear. My fear is the opposite. You're worried about how much stuff are they trying to put in here for 3 hours. My concern is because everything that Reeves has talked about is that this is a different Batman than what we've seen. This is more the detective side of Batman. And even in the interviews, again, names escaping us tonight. The guy who is playing Alfred says that the relationship between Batman and Alfred is not the relationship we're used to. They basically don't have one. They are, so, and from what we've seen from the trailer, we've got the two villains. Well, three if you want to count Catwoman as a villain. So my concern is that, are we going to do so much, I don't even want to say background, but so much digging into the other side of Batman that, you're basically going to be trying to drag me to get to the 3 hours.
So if this is, because the last time we really had Detective Batman was Val Kilmer's Batman. Like, legitimately, Val Kilmer's Batman with Tim Burton was more Detective Batman and Bruce Wayne than Batman just going out and fighting crime. So if it's that model with it, Robert Pattinson will be good at it, and he'll be a good fit. The initial images they showed of Batman going out and like beating up that group and just slamming that one dude's face into the ground. I feel like that was part of R-rated Batman, and I feel like things like that might be taken out. And if that's what happened, I'm gonna be sad about that. But I don't want them bringing me through a 3-hour detective drama disguised as Batman, where I only get Batman for like 25 minutes of a 3-hour movie. Like, I want my Batman. I want a good helping of it. So I'm a little worried that it's going to go that route too.
My biggest concern is that this is going to be 3 hours of a quasi love story between Batman and Catwoman, and then a follow the clues detective style of Riddler with Penguin just kind of being the thing that draws him out every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
That is my concern.
Yeah, well, because when we talked about Batman on the very first episode of this show, I said that if you're going to do as was necessary, you got to do something like Hush. If you're going to do a Batman now, like you want to do something in Batman that hasn't been done, do something like Hush. You get plenty of Detective Batman in Hush, but you get plenty of action and fighty, and you get a lot of. It's a way to bring in known and established characters with new actors and actresses and have it build a plot and lead to a big payoff where you don't have to spend an hour on fucking backstory or a love story. Like, these things are already established and you can just bring them in through the storytelling like Hush did. So if you can meld it like that and work it in, that's fine. But I feel like, because they're saying this is a different Batman, you haven't seen this before, it's going to be smoldering Robert Pattinson trying to figure out all these clues from the Riddler and trying to figure out how to stop Penguin. And as Catwoman comes through the window and they get, you get the sexy Catwoman Batman flirtatious moments where Bruce is just trying to figure things out and either convince Catwoman to stop her crime and help him, or just fucking leave. And I'm worried that it's the latter and not the former. So I don't need you to build backstory for fucking Joker or not Joker, Riddler and Penguin. We've seen it before. We understand what it is.
About the only good thing that we know so far is that he has said, as far as things that have already been well established, we will not have to go through the Batman's parents being killed. Yeah, that is, so that's good. We've seen that, They even put it in a Joker movie that wasn't supposed to be connected to Batman. So, it's right. Been done. Which, by the way, they're starting to shoot that sequel soon.
The sequel to Joker?
Yes.
Nice. I'm here for that.
My thing
Does that count as a DC movie?
Well, all right, so here's my answer to that. If the sequel goes where I think it's going to go, then yes, we can label it a DC movie. Because if you remember, when the first one came out, they were very adamant about how this is not connected to Batman. This is not, it is just a standalone movie, its own thing, yada, yada, yada. But then the ending was very not standalone-ish. It was connected to everything.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that, now that we've got a Batman that is, from all accounts here for now 3 movies, one of which is done and we've got 2 more, with that getting ready to set for, I feel we're going to get a crossover. Okay. Like you said, we're never going to see Leto Joker again. Okay. So it's Joaquin Joker from here on out. So, and I find it hard that you're going to go a trilogy with Batman and not do anything with Joker.
Well, no, I don't think it has to be Joaquin's Joker. You watched Gotham, right?
Yes.
So Jerome everybody said Jerome is the Joker, and then he wasn't because he died, but it was, the same guy brought back as like the cousin or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can use that same trope in this new series where, he was the Joker, but somebody took up the mantle after he died, and that person decided, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fuck with Batman.
The only thing, and again, as you said, we talked about Batman in the first show, and I banged the drum for this very hard, and they are trying to give me some clues here that maybe I will get it in this trilogy, is they are leaving breadcrumbs for a Robin or a Nightwing.
Yes.
Whether or not we get the actual person, whether or not it is a backstory, who knows? But again, it's a path they need to go down a lot deeper than Chris O'Donnell.
They released like a couple minute teaser last week.
I saw today something about like the first 3 or 4 minutes was released.
Like where he's in a church, and like he hears a couple of police officers talking about somebody's gone missing, and blah blah blah. And there's a kid in the front row who I think it's a funeral, and this kid in the front row, like his parents died, and you see Robert Pattinson like looking at this kid. And then this bus drives through, or this van drives in, like crashes into the church, drives up on the altar and like stops there. And you see that like Pattinson grabs this little kid and takes him out of the way. Like, that's your Robin, that's your Nightwing. Like, so they're bringing it in and they're doing it that way. That's how they're going to tell that story. And I'm here for it. I'm down. But I expect that if you bring me very young kid Robin, when the second one comes around, I need an older Robin, please.
Yeah, you need like teenage at least.
yeah, give me something,
Yeah.
because like either you're gonna replace Pattinson or like you need to give me Teenage Robin. Like you got to give me something. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm here for that. I would totally
Yeah.
love to see that.
Real quickly, because we both agree at how this is unfolding. So Josh Whedon, who directed the how do we want to word this, the theatrical version of Justice League. He took over for Zack Snyder when
Yeah.
Snyder left. And the colossal turd that was. Um, Numerous actors and actresses who were on Justice League had spoken out about Whedon. Gal Gadot had spoken out. Ray Fisher obviously had been very outspoken about not just Whedon but Warner Brothers in general, etc. So Whedon has finally spoken about these things. I'm not going to go into the whole thing in detail, but just a couple of things. He said that Gal basically doesn't speak English very, very good and misunderstood what he said. In one instance, and where he said something, that basically threatened her career. He also said, as far as the amount that we saw Cyborg in the movie, that he took a good portion of Cyborg out because Ray Fisher just wasn't a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, nothing Whedon says comes off as me jumping to the Whedon camp. I mean, there is a reason why there was a restore the Snyderverse movement, and there still is to this point. I mean, and nothing that Whedon does is going to change that.
Yeah, so Joss Whedon coming out and trying to make excuses is just like every white dude that has to come out and say, I'm not racist, I have a black friend. Like, that's really, when I was reading all this stuff, I was like, that's what you're telling me here, dude. Like, you don't actually have a clue what you're talking about. Because and I'm going to bring the Snyderverse into it because it's the best way to easily refute his argument when it comes to Gal Gadot and to Ray Fisher. Like saying that I took Cyborg out of the movie because Ray Fisher's not a good actor and his portrayal and everything was just bad and he had a bad attitude and all this stuff. The fact that Zack Snyder wanted Cyborg to play such a central role and how well that was actually done. It was one of the highlights of the Snyder Cut, in my opinion, was the way that they involved Cyborg and how well done like Ray Fisher actually did. He did a really good job. So Joss Whedon coming out and saying, no, I took him out because he was bad. Nope, doesn't track. You want to come up and then he's going to come out and say Gal Gadot doesn't have good English, so she clearly didn't understand what I was saying. Like, does he know that Gal Gadot is like, she's Israeli, bro? Like she speaks pretty good English. She knows what she's talking about. She's not one that you just walk around and say stuff like that to. And then you have Jason Momoa who comes out and backs both of them and says, yeah, they're 100% right. Like, everything that they're telling you is true. Like, you have one of the biggest actors in the world right now coming out and saying, like, no, this guy's a douche. Like, he's treating us poor. He's treating them poorly. And he probably looks at it like, well, he can't treat me poorly because without me, this movie doesn't work. Like, you have me and Ben Affleck, and people aren't too happy with Ben Affleck. People are actually happy about me playing the least important person in the Justice League.
It's funny because if you listen, Affleck has done a lot of press about the Flash movie and how, it'll be his last time being Batman. And he says that, Whedon doing Justice League killed him wanting to be Batman. Yeah. He didn't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's funny too that in Reeves doing the press for this Batman movie, Affleck even had a solo Batman movie written. He had a plan. And Whedon just sucked the life out of him. And Reeves even said, like, the script, it wasn't that the script was bad, it just wasn't a direction that I wanted to go in. And, with Ben not being Batman, it just didn't make sense to do it. But, for everybody, and I'm not trying to sit here and say that Affleck was the greatest Batman of all time, because he certainly wasn't. But for everybody that wants to take a crap on Affleck, I'm not going to do it. I'm not, because when you listen to everybody else that was involved in that movie, and you see the difference in and everybody from Whedon's version to Snyder's version, and that's Affleck included. Okay, had the Snyderverse been the movie that was finished and put out, DC and everything around it would look and feel a lot different than it does right now.
I think if the cast would have had more fun and been more relaxed and felt appreciated, that would have been better.
The movie would have went off without a problem. They would have been fine. They would have went off, did their solos, okay, and everybody would have known what the plan was. Because you've got Ezra Miller, the Flash, doing a solo movie. And, now maybe he's just playing coy. Maybe he doesn't want to give anything away. But he's saying, I'm not sure I'm not sure what I'm connected to.
Right.
That's a problem. When you ask whoever, okay, when you ask Chris Hemsworth, about the Thor movie or whatever, they're not telling you exactly, but hey, we're setting up a lot of things. This is going to lead to a lot, they're building you up. He's flat out telling you, I got no idea what I'm doing. That's a problem.
Yeah. The lack of direction is staggering. Now, granted, I'm not an Ezra Miller guy. I think Ezra Miller is a piece of shit. I still want Grant Gustin to come over from the Flash TV show and be the Flash on the big screen. I think he has the right mentality for it. I think he's the better choice. Just like I feel like you could put Stephen Amell in a DC movie and he would do just fine as the Green Arrow. Like he could captivate me long enough for a 2-hour movie and I'd be in for it. So I'm not against it. I think that this may be the best Bat flick that we get because Batman versus Superman was bad. Justice League was bad. I don't think the Flash movie is going to be good, but I think that Affleck may at least he's going to have less pressure knowing that he doesn't have to do it again.
I think the Flash movie will be nostalgic enough that it might gloss over the DC crappiness. Because you're gonna get all kinds of things pulled in here. Okay, you're gonna get Affleck, you're gonna get Keaton, you're gonna get all kinds of things. So
I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Detective Flash. Like if you're gonna give me Flash, give me Flash. Flash doing Flash things, Flash against Flash baddies. That I want to see that because somehow they're gonna bring in. If Keaton's in it and Affleck's in it, there's gonna be some Speed Force in it. Like you're gonna bring the Speed Force in. You're gonna play with that, which I'm here for. But Ezra Miller's style of Flash is just not what I'm not used to it. So I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see. I also hate his running style. I think he has the goofiest fucking running style for Flash ever. Like, I don't know how running like with your legs kicking outwards and going like this is fucking fast. Like that's stupid. So I don't know. I have my complaints because everything in DC is shit right now except for Doom Patrol in my opinion, but we'll see. Hopefully, because it's not Joss Whedon touched, it should be fine. Okay. And Kevin Feige's coming over soon, allegedly, so that should fix things.
All right. So before I dive into how DC is going to make you hate them completely and ruin your life, I want to talk about what we know about Doctor Strange thus far. There's a caveat to that, though. As you said, even though you have not seen Spider-Man, you know basically everything that has happened now.
Yes.
So I have a question for you, and I guess this kind of goes out to the people that are watching and or listening at some point. Do we want to kind of pull the curtain back on Spider-Man where I can kind of go into everything that we know at this point, or are we going to leave Spider-Man things out of this conversation?
That's tough. Even knowing what I know, like
I'll put it this way: the things that I have concerning Spider-Man aren't anything new to you. I was like, you knowing what you know, I'm just adding on to it.
Yeah, that's fine then.
Okay, so for those of you who don't want to know and have not seen Spider-Man, this would be the part of the. You should probably come back in like 10, 15 minutes.
Call it a good 20 because of the way we talk.
Okay. So there are okay, so we'll just start it this way. So you know that we got Toby and Andrew in this. You know, all of that stuff. I believe I don't know if we discussed this. Do you know about the end credit?
I know about the Venom drop.
Okay, so that's where we're going with this. Yep. So there's a lot of things with the Venom drop. So I have a lot of rumors that have come out since, you know, after Spider-Man. So here are a couple of the big ones. So number one is ever since they brought Toby and Andrew back, the nostalgia has kicked into overdrive. So there have been two big things. One, Marvel / Sony are considering to develop a final Spider-Man 4 film concentrated on Toby's Spider-Man universe for a happy ending to the Ramiverse. Also, in turn, Andrew Garfield is not done being Spider-Man. It is rumored that he is on for multiple projects, including Venom 3 and his own Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
In this Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie, there is a plan supposedly in place to merge Andrew and Eddie Brock's Venom together for a face-off. Okay, so that's that version. The drop that we see at the end of Far From Home is supposedly a plan to explore the anti-hero side of Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
Okay, so we're doing Black Spider-Man again.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's that.
Emo Tom Holland, got it.
Jamie Foxx is also not done. He'll be around for both of Andrew's third film and Venom 3. Venom 3 apparently will be very Spider-Man oriented.
Okay.
Let me see what else we've got here. So yes, that. Also, there has been talk about trying to do a movie with the three of them together again. Also bringing Emma Stone back for her own Spider-Gwen movie.
Okay.
I'm
going to let you list all this out, and then I'll tell you how I feel about it. Because I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if that's all the... Okay, so that's all the Spider-Man related stuff I have. That's everything there. So you can respond to that before we dive into anything else.
Can I just say that hearing all of this is probably the best thing that I've heard in a very long time. Like when I saw the spoilers online through memes, mind you, like, and then I put two and two together and I was like, God damn it. And then ever since then, now it's everywhere. I was like, man, you brought Toby and you brought Andrew back. I hope this isn't the last time that I see them. Like it's nice to see them, but like knowing how successful this movie's been, I was like, can we get some nice closed loops? Um, Andrew Garfield versus Tom Hardy, I think fits perfectly. Um, I think you give Andrew Garfield a lot to work with, putting him opposite Tom Hardy, and the way that his Spider-Man movies were kind of portrayed and told, those two are the best fit to go up against each other. Obviously, you can't do it with Toby because Toby had Topher Grace, which was a disgrace to both Spider-Man and Venom. Like that just didn't work at all. So putting Tom Hardy up against Andrew Garfield, I think works. Tom Hardy has that grittier bit to him. Go ahead.
I did forget. I do have one other Spider-Man related note. Um,
Okay.
the Blu-ray, which is coming out next month, I believe,
Okay.
has an additional 100 minutes.
Oh my God. Oh.
And
Okay.
one of the things that I know was discussed, and apparently, I don't know if they ever did it and just decided not to put it in, or if they thought about it and didn't do it, was having Venom in there at the end, actually having him as part of the movie in the ending. So whether or not that'll be part of the extra, you know, hour 40 or whatnot, but I did see that today. There was an extra 100 minutes on the Blu-ray.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
Which for somebody who doesn't buy Blu-rays anymore, you're obligating me to buy it now.
Funny story. I bought a Blu-ray this past week.
Really?
Yep.
A new one
Dune.
or like an older one?
New.
What did you buy?
Dune.
Ah,
I like Dune, man.
I still haven't watched it.
It's good. Have you read the books or no?
No.
Not to get off track. No? Okay. Well, you might not like the movie as much as I do. I've loved the books, and the movie, like the original movie that came out for it, I liked a lot, but it was very hokey and very 80s and very ridiculous. This is a more modern take, and knowing where it's going with the second one makes me feel a lot better about how the series is being told this time. But anyway, back to the thing at hand, which is Spider-Man. Yes, Andrew Garfield versus Tom Hardy, two giant thumbs up there. Venom 3 being Spider-Man heavy, love that. Spider-Gwen, huge. Not so sure that I love it as Emma Stone, but sure. I'm willing to try because I like Spider-Gwen in the Spider-Verse. So I'm here for it. Let's try it. I think it could work. Giving Tobey Maguire a fourth movie, like he was promised to finish out, Scott Raimi's Spider-Verse. Love that. I always wanted that to kind of finish off, but 3 was just so ridiculous that it was kind of tough at the time. But now you could go back and pull that off very easy. Giving Tom Holland his own emo Spider-Man and dealing with the anti-hero Spider-Man, interesting. Don't quite know how that's going to work, but granted, I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know. I wonder how you make that work within the MCU at this point, seeing as it, is still technically a Sony picture, but Marvel's involved. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm here for it. I'm willing to give it a try. All things Spider-Man I love, or I'm at least optimistic on. So all of that is great.
Okay, so now that you just dived through everything, you're going to have to respond to these one by one because this is a lot. Because now that we've gone through the Spider-Man stuff, that sets us up for Doctor Strange, which Doctor Strange will break Endgame's record for the amount of characters used.
Damn. Okay.
Okay. So when we're talking about Multiverse of Madness, they're not lying. All right. So let's dive through everything one by one. Some of these not so surprising, some of these may be. So starting off with our Scarlet Witch, Lore, who is an evil variant of the Scarlet Witch, is rumored to appear in this Doctor Strange movie. I don't think that is a huge surprise to you or anybody that can put two and two together.
Nope.
There is a rumor that Marvel contacted Affleck about a cameo as Daredevil in Doctor Strange.
Okay. What, by the way, was Matt Murdock in the new Spider-Man?
Very briefly.
Okay. The guy from the TV show, yeah?
Yes. They did not change.
Cool. All
right. So this is just a generic description of what we have for the movie. This doesn't really say anything, but it says that the movie has gotten really positive feedback at a recent test screening. It has a strong horror vibe and plenty of shots that are classic Rami. The movie is reportedly approximately 2 hours without credits or post-credit scenes and ends with a cliffhanger.
Strong horror vibes?
Horror vibes.
Jesus Christ. I love that.
Wanda is the main villain. Shuma Gargantos has a small role as a demon. Wanda Almighty Darkhold will be terrifying, and they put in parentheses, Evil Dead Rami. And she will make a massacre among the variants she will be fighting throughout Strange Multiverse.
Wait, Wanda Maximoff is the bad guy.
Well, I don't know if it's Wanda Maximoff or it is this evil Wanda that's going to show up. But that there's some version of Wanda is going to be the main villain in this movie.
Okay.
What else do we have here? So here's the big thing. We were talking about Batman and how there was an R-rated Batman, but they ultimately went with a PG-13 one.
Was there an R-rated multiverse and they made a PG-13?
No, we are waiting on Disney's approval to get the R-rated one pushed through.
Oh my God.
It says Marvel has two versions of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. One is an R-rated one, another is PG-13. The longer version is R-rated, but they have to wait for Disney's approval.
Yes, please.
Okay, so here is... So now I'm going to start diving into the different variants that we're going to get in this movie, because there are a lot of guys that have come out as far as confirmed that supposedly are going to be in this movie.
All right.
So here's number one. Tom Cruise will be an Iron Man variant in this movie. You may remember back in if I want to say the first Avengers movie, there was that like celebrity Avengers thing that they saw on the TV or whatever. I was saying, you vaguely remember what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so we're going back to that. So Tom Cruise will be Iron Man, and he is said to be the most powerful Iron Man we've seen. He has possession of 3 Infinity Stones, advanced armor, and keeps the head of Thanos preserved in a jar of liquid.
Okay, continue, please.
I mean, you can react to any of these at any given point.
I hate this. Literally just was like...
Okay. All right. Well, here's something that will cheer you up. And this isn't directly related to Doctor Strange, but nevertheless could be. Josh Brolin will be returning not only as Thanos,
But
but
as
as
Cable?
Cable as well.
Fuck yes. All right.
So there you go. I cheered you up quickly.
Yeah.
Going back to Doctor Strange, the first variant of the X-Men to appear in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness are the original X-Men: Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, James Marsden, Halle Berry, blah, blah, blah. They are the member of Illuminati, and his 4 helpers will wear the classic comic suits.
Love that.
Okay, so there's that. And lastly, okay, here are all. So I've given you pretty much most of the rumored characters in this movie so far, but there are a few that I left out. So I gave you Tom Cruise. I gave you the X-Men. That includes Magneto as well. Will show up supposedly.
Are we talking Ian McKellen Magneto?
Yes.
Okay.
A couple of others that will be showing up. Supposedly Nicolas Cage will show up as Ghost Rider. Toby.
This is a 2-hour movie?
Well, supposedly we didn't. I don't think they screened the R-rated version. The R-rated version is supposedly longer. I'm not done, by the way. There's more.
Okay.
Toby will be back as Spider-Man.
Nice.
Edward Norton will be back as Bruce Banner.
Oh, you lost me.
Hold on, I'm going to bring you back. Thomas Jane will be back as the Punisher.
Okay, I'm back.
And more importantly, I saved this
John
one for
Bernthal?
last. No. I saved this one for last for a reason. Wesley Snipes will be back as Blade.
Let's go. How the fuck are they fitting all these people in?
Also, so I told you how we're going to have a Tom Cruise Iron Man.
Yeah, I hate that so much.
Well, here's something else that goes with it. John Krasinski, who many people know from The Office.
Krasinski.
Right? Yeah, whatever. Okay. He initially auditioned to be Captain America before Chris Evans got the role. Rumor has it that in this movie, he will get his chance to play Steve Rogers, the variant, alongside Tom Cruise's Iron Man.
No, you should have done Jensen Ackles.
So, by the way, that Brolin thing I told you about Cable and Thanos.
Does that mean I get Deadpool?
Wait, that remains to be seen. They have said that Deadpool 3 is part of the MCU. They have said that.
Okay, acceptable.
So that that could help you out. But so that's basically everything I've got as far as Doctor Strange related. One other Marvel thing is that Marvel has reached out to Zack Snyder in hopes of him directing an upcoming Hulk project.
Ooh. Zack Snyder Hulk. I'm in for that.
All right, so that's everything we've got Marvel related. Is there anything? We got some of your reactions in there, but is there anything that you want to expand on, or are we good?
Yeah, in this multiverse, or in this new multiverse where Tom Cruise is Iron Man and John Krasinski is Cap, I think I want the bad guys to win.
Well,
Also, I would have to change my allegiance to Captain America because
well,
fuck Tom Cruise as Iron
well,
Man.
well. Now remember, okay, I did say that this evil Wanda apparently destroys all of these variants. So these variants are going to die in a very bad way.
Well, then I want her to win, so that's fine.
Yeah. So I think I think you'll be appeased.
And I really hope it's fucking Emily Olsen.
But
So they haven't said anything about Vision that we know of.
yeah, I think they're going to keep the Vision stuff pretty close to the vest. I don't know that anything Vision related in this movie is going to seep out.
Okay.
You know, I think variants they're kind of cool with letting seep out because I think these variants are going to be a lot of mini cameos. How long are we? We're going to see Tom Cruise for a couple of minutes. That kind of thing. Like I don't know how long they're really going to be.
Yeah, but like, I have two main questions. How the fuck is this going to be a 2 to 2.5 hour movie with all of this going on? And secondly, why is Doctor Strange the lead in said movie? Everything you're telling me here is just screen time that's taken away from Benedict Cumberbatch. And like, how is he supposed to be facilitating all of this?
Because he's the one that's opening all of this.
I understand that. Is he just going to be like the point of contact? He's the fucking receptionist for everything that's happening, and that's how he gets to the main story point?
So here's based off of. All right, now again, you haven't seen Spider-Man. You just know everything that you've kind of come across here.
Yes.
So I've got a little bit more to go off of. Here's how I think this is going to go. I think that the multiverse is basically busted open. I think that we are going to get all of these variants coming from various places. So Strange is essentially trying to close one multiverse after another. Okay. And I think, what we have seen from, have you watched the trailer that was put out? Well, no. Was an end credit scene, at one point? Okay.
No, I have not.
Okay. So I'm not giving much away here. That's fine. What we see in the trailer is he goes to Wanda and she thinks that he is there to talk about what happened in WandaVision. And he says, I'm not here for that. And essentially asks her for help. So I am wondering if him and her are working in a tandem trying to close these multiverses. Mm-hmm. And then we get an evil version of Wanda that comes through and starts to dice, and then basically it's a battle with them ultimately. I mean where this ultimately ends is really my question. I don't know. Like, you're telling me that Wanda or a variant of Wanda is the villain. Okay, I get that I can see, but you're telling me it ends on a cliffhanger and this is leading it like that. That's where you're going to have to kind of lead me to, because I don't, I give, when it comes to MCU stuff, I don't question. They usually make it work, but I don't see the road yet.
Right. Yeah. I have so many things written down, like based on what you said, because I'm like, do we get Shang-Chi? Do we get Loki? Is the TVA involved? Do we get more Catherine Hahn since WandaVision's in it? Am I going to get Owen Wilson in an MCU movie? Like, so many questions, and I don't know how they're going to get there.
that's the great thing about this movie, is because we know it's going to break the Endgame record for the characters and all that.
Yeah.
Anybody that you can write down is a possibility. I mean, anybody that you've seen show up in the MCU at any given point can show up in this movie.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, there is the strong likelihood that they can use this movie to introduce the Fantastic Four.
Would be nice.
Well, they're going to have to do it at some point.
Yeah. Be interesting to see who they cast for that.
I think it's already casted. I'm not sure. All right. So anything else you want to talk about from that whole smorgasbord, or are we done?
No, you just blew my fucking mind. Just tell me how DC's going to piss me off so I can come down a little bit.
We're going to go down that rat hole right now. All right. So just a few things before we get to how DC's going to piss you off. A couple of Batman related things that I kind of forgot. We haven't even seen this first Batman movie yet, but apparently they already have the sequel planned out. And apparently the sequel will adapt the comic storyline of No Man's Land.
Ooh. Okay.
So we have that. William Dafoe obviously has been in the comic rounds because of his return as Green Goblin. However, he said that he has fantasized about starring in a Joker versus Joker movie with him playing in an imposter Joker opposite of Joaquin Phoenix. He said there's something interesting about it, like if there was a Joker imposter, so it would be possible to have not dueling Jokers, but someone that says to be the Joker that isn't the Joker. And that kind of opens up the possibility of an interesting story, particularly if you had Joaquin's Joker.
Willem Dafoe could be the Joker in, like, if you were to tie him into, say, the second of this Robert Pattinson Batman, Willem Dafoe, I think, would be old enough that he could play an older Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, he did a fantastic job as Green Goblin, so I wouldn't argue it. I like him as an actor. I've liked him in pretty much every movie he's ever done. Hopefully there's a movie coming out with him in it within the next year that I've been waiting like 10 fucking years for. So that would be nice too. I'm not mad at that. If Willem Dafoe wants it, I'd give it to him. I love him as an actor and as a bad guy. I think he would crush it. So,
all right, so let's start pissing Josh off.
Yep.
So this is not even what I was talking about and how DC is going to hurt you, but this is going to hurt you because this comes direct from your guy. Okay? When it comes to movies and the guy that Josh will die for, it's coming
Kevin
from
Smith?
him. Yes.
I knew where you were going.
Kevin Smith scrapped a Superman film starring Ben Affleck as the character and the Suicide Squad's Michael Rooker as Lex Luthor. The film would have been based on the Death of Superman comics.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've watched him talk about this. And he didn't scrap it. He was told to scrap it. He was told it wasn't going to go through. So he had to get rid of it. Like, he couldn't do anything with the material. They weren't going to push forward with it. I'm not sold on Ben Affleck as Superman, to be honest with you. Michael Rooker as Lex Luthor also doesn't make sense to me. So there's a lot in here that I'm just not buying. I think had he made it in the early 2000s, it would have worked. Today, that never works.
No, I don't think it's something that could be done now.
But what was Ben Affleck was typecast. He said he was never going to be a leading man. But to that point, in the 90s, he was such a douchebag character in pretty much every movie. You can't have somebody that's known and been typecast a little bit as a douchebag character playing Superman. Like, you just can't do it. I, I'm not mad necessarily. This is not what I thought you were going to do because I'm not super mad at this.
No,
but,
this isn't the part that's supposed to piss you off yet. We haven't gotten to that.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was like, I'm not super mad.
No, I just had that one kind of queued up here.
Well, I'd watch anything Kevin Smith just because Kevin Smith. So
I'm aware.
Can't hurt you. Can't hurt me. I'm not bummed that it didn't ever happen though. It was a cool idea, but I'm not mad that it didn't happen.
So back to this Flash movie, I think you'll agree with me. You know, if we're doing all this Flash and bringing people in, you kind of have to have a reverse Flash at some point in this movie.
Yeah. You have to have a reverse Flash or somebody.
But you can't do reverse Flash appropriately, because here's a list of things that Reverse Flash has done. Killed his younger brother out of envy for his success, killed his career rival at the Flash Museum, killed every boyfriend his crush had, put her in a vegetative state because she wouldn't date him even when single. Went back in time to kill Barry's mom, then framed Barry's dad for it, as we know. Went out of his way to erase Barry's childhood from existence, so we'd be Barry's childhood friends from existence, so we'd be lonely. He pushed Barry down the stairs as a kid. He moved Barry's arm so that he wouldn't catch the ball at a baseball game. He literally was the monster under Barry's bed and tormented him throughout childhood. He killed Barry's wife once, then tried it again when he got remarried. He was willing to allow Earth to be destroyed just because he wanted to make Barry feel bad for trying to save his mom from getting killed. He retconned reality numerous times just to mess with Barry and the Flash family. And this is the best one. He once told Barry that when he goes back in time and kills his mom again, he will pose as a social worker so that he can raise him as his own son. None of these things will show up in the movie.
Why?
That's my point. Like, if we're going to do Reverse Flash, I need this. This is the Reverse Flash I need.
What are they doing? I already don't like the movie.
Okay, so now let's get to the part that's going to piss you off.
Okay.
I am going to give you the very short version before I go into detail, just so you can digest what I am about to tell you. Okay? Number one, the movement for the Snyderverse can stop. It is done. No matter what anybody tells you, it is officially done. And once that Flash movie hits the theaters, it will be wiped away forever. The same way that first Justice League movie, or that first Suicide Squad movie, fails to exist, it will be the same for Justice League. Okay. Now, this is where it gets to you. So, as we've already stated, The Flash is Affleck's final appearance as Batman. That is not surprising. The Henry Cavill footage in this movie is just old footage. It is not actually Henry Cavill. But now we get to what matters. The Justice League, as you know it, is no more. The Flash movie will be forming a new Justice League. Instead of Superman, we will have Supergirl. Michael Keaton will work with Black Canary, and instead of Batman, we will have Batgirl. So, just to give you an idea of what you are looking at from what I have been put together, the original Justice League and the Justice League as we know it was Aquaman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, The Flash, and Cyborg. Okay, that is the Justice League as we know it. The Justice League that supposedly we are now getting is Aquaman, Supergirl, Batgirl, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Shazam.
That's okay.
Now, what I have in details here. Dun, dun, dun. So this kind of goes through everything that DC is trying to plan out here. So it says when DC started the universe with Snyder, it was mapping out the franchises. But now the franchises started to travel into multiverses. Multiverses DC took not only to unite alternate versions of heroes into single movies, it sounds like it's more than that. They have a plan. It says that DC is looking to adapt War of the Gods into live action multiverse, and the multiverse is one of the branches. It says that Black Adam is going to play a pivotal role in this. I'm trying to see what else we have here. If I can get this out of the way. Yeah, Wonder Woman has a... So, no. Okay, so Amelia Harcourt has a brief cameo in Black Adam. Wonder Woman will also cameo in The Flash. That's what kind of sets up this War of the Gods storyline. Wonder Woman apparently has a substantial role in the second Shazam, and Shazam 2 is supposed to lead into Wonder Woman 3. The Flash is supposedly the tipping point of this event. Basically what I already said. And going back to the Peacemaker talk that we had earlier, apparently Peacemaker is going to be used to drop a lot of references to other DC movies. Rumors suggest that the Black Canary movie will introduce Green Arrow and Lady Shiva. Dun, dun, dun. Yep. And then a new Justice League movie could be the one which would unite all these events and the teams of Justice Society, the Suicide Squad with Black Adam, the new team of superheroes with the Flash, Amazonians, Altanians, yada, yada, yada. Basically fighting ancient gods. So that is the road that supposedly DC is about to take us down.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pissed.
I mean, you're trying to sell me on a Justice League that doesn't have the two most important members in it.
Yeah.
You are essentially wiping away. I mean, think about this. It's not that you're wiping away the Affleck Batman, because, okay, that's fine. I mean, we have a Pattinson Batman coming out, so that's all well and good. But I mean, Think about it. You have, and no matter where you stand on it, whether you wanted it or you didn't want it, okay, the same way that we've had a swell movement for restoring the Snyderverse, it's been that way for a Man of Steel sequel for the longest time. And now, not only are you not getting any sequel to that, we are erasing him as Superman. They are basically stamping out any reminder of Snack Snyder's universe. That's what this is for. They want no thread left. And I think I know the reason why. It's nothing that I read. It's nothing. It's not a rumor. It's nothing. It's just something that I, putting a couple of pieces together, or it's something that I believe is possible. But I think that's why they're doing this.
Okay, what do you think?
Well, the Discovery now kind of owns WB. Like their CEO runs it.
Okay.
And when he kind of took over, they talked to him kind of about Snyder and, the whole Justice League issue and all this. And this is before, the whole thing with Whedon, last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. And he said, the two biggest things that I think we need to focus on and we will do is not only listen to our actors and actresses, but also listen to the fans, because ultimately that's who we're making the movies for. So I think that the people that are still running the Warner Brothers and making the movies are concerned that if they leave any thread of the Snyderverse left to be pulled, they're going to be told to pull it and pull it thoroughly.
So what you just said was doing what the fans want. It's part of that, potentially.
Yeah, this is not it.
Not even close. Because I'm writing down like Aquaman, so Jason Momoa. You've got your big name. You've got your headliner. Okay. Ladies are going to come out to see Jason Momoa. You have Supergirl. Who the fuck's going to play Supergirl? Are you going to get CBS? Are you going to get CW Supergirl? Are you going to bring in somebody else? Are you going to get CW Batgirl? Or are you going to get somebody else? Flash, Ezra Miller.
You're going to make me look this up now.
Well, these are just like I haven't looked yet myself, but then like you're getting Ezra Miller as the Flash. He's trash. Like already said, he's a terrible Flash. He's not a good actor, and he's a shitty human being. You're gonna give me Zachary Levi as Shazam. Cool. He's fine.
Do you want answers?
Yeah.
Okay, so Supergirl, her name is Sasha Calle, or Cal. She's apparently a Colombian actress, and she is the new Supergirl.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna click on her. Let's see what she. Let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah. Wait, hold on. There we go. Okay. Not what I expected, but okay. All right. So let's see. And what else did we want to know? We want to know Batgirl, correct?
Yeah.
Leslie Grace is Batgirl. And if you want to know who Leslie Grace is, apparently she is more of a singer than an actress. She has 3 Latin Grammy Award nominations.
Oh, I do know who she is. She was in the Heights.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I know who she is. Wow, I hate this so much.
I told you that you would hate them by the time I was done.
I mean, I don't hate Leslie Grace as an actress. I think she's fantastic.
No. I don't. You could have the best casting that you could possibly come up with, and this idea doesn't work.
Yeah, because they're fighting the old gods.
you're giving me like I'll tell you right now, don't call this the Justice League. You better come up with a different name.
Yeah.
Okay, at least give us that sort of respect. Do not put the Justice League on this group, because that's certainly not what it is. And the fact, okay, and think about this. We are all excited for the nostalgia of Michael Keaton coming back and putting on the Batman suit. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we're all pumped to see that, see the old Batmobile, that whole thing. They are using Michael Keaton to basically be the canon for us to approve his donning of Batgirl. That's what this is.
I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? Seriously. Like, is this because Marvel's now at the multiverse stage where it's like, look at all these characters we can bring back? And DC's going to go, hey, we can do that too. We can give you Batmans from different universes. We can give you Supergirl. You want Supergirl? We'll give you Supergirl. We're not going to give you Supergirl that you know, though. We're going to give you one you've never heard of before. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give you brand new Batgirl. We're going to tie it in with Michael Keaton. You guys love Michael Keaton. He's the best Batman ever, right? I hate this so much. And I feel like they're rushing it because of where Marvel's at in their cinematic universe. DC's just trying to stay on the same path, but they're fucking it up because they never built a proper foundation. And you're going to give me a Black Canary standalone movie. A Black Canary standalone movie who's going to become, what I understand, Batman or Batgirl. So Leslie Grace is going to be Black Canary, and then Keaton's going to train her and make her become Batgirl, and that's how we're going to get Green Arrow? None of this shit makes sense to me.
Here's the problem. Like you said, DC never built the foundation. They never did it right. They rushed in the Justice League. Right. You know, they didn't do the solo movies before. It was like, here, let's give you Justice League. Let's give you everybody. Then we'll worry about solo movies. And then that was a mess.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, had they sat here, you know, they could have done two things. And either way they would have done this would have been, I think you and I would sit here and receive it a whole lot better. And I think most people would receive it a lot better than what they're giving us. If they had sat here and said, listen, we hear you. Zach is on board. We're going to have to obviously hit a reset button here. It's going to take us a little bit, but we're going to give Zach the opportunity to take his vision and run with it. Everybody would be fine with it. Nobody would give it a second guess. Okay? Yep. Like, if you told me it was going to take 4 years, all well and good. Take your 4 years. Be good. Okay? Yep. If you didn't want to do that, okay, fine. To your point, DC has something that Marvel didn't. Okay? Well, I shouldn't say Marvel didn't. Marvel didn't have until recently. Mm-hmm. Because Marvel really didn't have the Netflix shows to dig into until recently. Whereas DC has had the CW. The CW was the DC universe before DC movies. Mm-hmm. So you always had that to dig into, and it's just, okay, well, you know, you need the Green Arrow. You've got Stephen Amell. You need the Flash. You have, you know, whatever. You have all, you know, I mean, even in their plan to get rid of Henry Cavill as Superman, Cavill, whatever. Okay. You've got a Superman in the CW that if you wanted to swap, we'd even be okay with that. Mm-hmm. But instead, they wipe away what they've got. They wipe away what they've done incorrectly. They don't acknowledge what they've got sitting on the other side. And instead, they want to take this magpie and serve it to you and say, this is what you like. When I've watched what Marvel does over there. I've watched what the CW has done there for years. And you just don't acknowledge any of it. And that's why I can't buy in anything DC does. I don't go into any DC movie with high expectations. Not a single one. Even ones that I think I'm gonna like the Aquaman sequel. Okay? I'm pretty sure I'll like that. But I'm not going in with high expectations because I'm waiting for how does DC screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know that Aquaman 2 will be an Aquaman standalone movie. For all I know, they're using Aquaman 2 to connect it to something else that they're going to do with this hodgepodge team.
Mm-hmm.
So DC has 0% of my trust. Not an ounce.
Yeah. None of these movies is going to get a dime from me. I'm not going to watch any of this until it's either like it has to withstand the market for me to even pay attention to it. Like there's not a single thing here that drives my dollar to watch anything that's going on in this universe. And like Pattinson's Batman, I'm going to watch because it's Batman. Like I don't care if you're wiping away everything that Snyder did, if you're wiping away Batfleck and all of that, then I no longer care about any of this new stuff. This is more convoluted and bunched together than the new fucking Star Wars trilogy. It doesn't make any sense. It's not cohesive in any way. And there's no... What's the thing that Marvel does better than any like high fantasy superhero franchise before it? Fan service. They give you what you want. Like we know what the fans want, and we're going to give it to you in a way that you might not expect, but you're going to love. And if you give us a little bit of trust, we will prove it to you. DC's like, we're going to do what the fuck we want with these characters, and you're going to have to deal with it. And I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to watch it.
Here's the best example I can give you. Okay, we sat here, we talked about Eternals. We said how Eternals was garbage.
Yep.
Yet you and I easily dismiss it. Yep. Okay, and then I tell you about everything that's rumored for Doctor Strange, and your only concern is how is this 2 or 2.5 hours? Not is this going to be good? It's how do you fit this all in?
Yep.
Yet you and I sit here, okay, both of us with Batman at the top of our list as far as if you make a Batman movie, we're going to see it. Doesn't matter. Yep. Okay? But despite everything, you and I sat here and talked about all the concerns that we have with it. Because it's DC.
Yep.
Because I don't even trust DC to do a Batman movie properly.
I haven't trusted a DC movie in a very long time. And the only good DC movies are the ones that don't fall under a DC banner.
No.
Christopher Nolan's Batman, phenomenal. Doesn't fall under DC's banner. That's not canon in the DC universe. Fucking V for Vendetta, standalone DC movie. Fantastic movie.
By the way, if we're going to bring variants of everything back, can I get a V for Vendetta variant somewhere?
Can I get a Hugo Weaving V for Vendetta, please? That would be dope. Yeah.
You know, talking about, and we'll finish this up here in a minute, but talking about, you know, good DC movies that, you know, because they didn't fall under the DC banner, I think the first Shazam went off as well as it did because I don't think DC had a plan for it.
Nope.
I don't think DC thought Shazam was going to be connected to anything in any way. And then because it came off so well and people liked it, now they're trying to bring it in. And now they'll force it in any way that they can.
You don't put a 13-year-old boy on the Justice League just because Zachary Levi is Shazam. It makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's fucking stupid.
By the time we get Shazam 2, is he like 18?
25? Like, how old is he going to be?
Has he grown up at all?
He's just going to be Zachary Levi for real.
You know,
Just a 40-year-old man. So dumb.
Just awful.
Is this going to be fucking Teen Titans Go for DC, but you're going to call it the Justice League? What the fuck, man? This is so dumb.
No, it can't be Teen Titans Go because even Teen Titans had Robin.
That's right. Why give us anything to make us happy? We get Jason Momoa. That's our victory. We get we get Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Black Adam, so that DC gets one movie that is in the black.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? Yeah. But no, you're giving me what?
So Josh Whedon would not approve.
I don't give a fuck what he wants. Fuck that guy. Yeah, the Dwayne Johnson movie is going to go off without a hit because he's going to have so much control on it. He's going to make it good. I don't see a single thing on this list other than that I care about or feel like watching. So,
but
I don't want to watch the Flash movie. I don't.
And again, we just ran through all of that, and I talked about how in erasing the first Justice League, how we erased the Joker Harley situation. Now, what are we doing with Harley? I mean, you can argue Harley is the best character you have in the entire DC universe right now.
Yeah.
And what are you doing with her?
Nothing, apparently.
Yeah. All right. Well, by all means, if you are somebody that is still pro DC after I've told you all this, please tweet us.
Yeah, please
do. I would love to hear this.
So somebody rationalize this thought process for me and sell me on why I should still pay a dime to watch any of this.
You tell me how the DC Vision works.
It's so bad HBO Max doesn't even want a hand in it anymore.
Jesus it's so Christ. Bad it's so bad they said they'd rather do Peacemaker season 2.
Oh, fuck off. All right, man, let's wrap this up and get out of here. I have to go wash this disgustingness off me now.
All right, we are done. The plan is tomorrow to be back and do Beard and Bookie, talk about the Super Bowl, all that stuff. So we'll see if we can get that to go off without a hitch. But all right, I've disgusted you enough for one night. We are done. Until next time. See you guys later.